Здравствуйте, уважаемые коллеги. У нас сегодня в гостях Фарид, координатор
We are visited by Farid, coordinator of the International Union of Electric Communications, and we couldn't avoid the opportunity to understand of what really happens in the world from the point of view of standardizing organization, which covers all telecommunication operators in the world. And my first question to Farid, Farid, can you tell me, please, what about you from the point of view and point of view of your communications? How do you evaluate the cybersecurity in industry in general? Thank you very much, Mikhail. It's very nice to be here. I would like to say thanks, Positive Technologies, for inviting me to this conference. I'm really impressed, and all my colleagues are impressed by the scale of this conference. It's the first time I participate here, so I would like to begin by saying that. And answering your question, we are looking at which international organization in the cybersecurity are participating, which has worsened in the course of several years. Then Global Economical Forum, which created Global Security Outlook, which has provided the main trends due to political instability, which creates cybersecurity risks, development of new technologies, machine learning. It gives you the possibility to protect yourselves and gives you new tools for the attacking sides, supply chains, complication of supply chains, possibility of reduction of the trust level to red suppliers in different countries. So all these risks that we see recently, they have complicated the cybersecurity. But at the same time, in this example, an example of this conference, PhDs, and an example of other events that we visit, we see that industry is getting adopted, it's getting involved, it develops new solutions, new formats of cooperation. Defenders, they also react to these, and they give us hope that a situation will improve in the nearest future. We also wanted to believe that the situation is going to improve, but if you allow me, I would like to switch from technological trends to people. It's a very important topic. In a few recent years, in a dozen of last years, it's providing data confidentiality for the users, and we have billions of those users. So what do you think about this, especially on the International Telecommunication Union, and what do you see in different countries from this point of view? Maybe there are some changes in approaches, some working groups that work in this area. Thank you very much for this question. Yes, as UN organization, we work for the well-being, for the security of population and citizens and protection of personal data. This is one of the key issues that is being solved by the states, the members of MSA. What can we say about this? The first thing that I would like to say is that national cybersecurity strategies and good practice is when the personal data is being protected. In this document, significant place is given to this, and this document has been developed in while consultants with other state bodies of authority, when this document carries very good structure, the basis for protection of the personal data. After, from this document, we see different legislative frameworks, regulation, and this regulation also should be developed within consulting with expert communities so that it would be fulfillable, closer to real situation, and would take into consideration interests of everybody, and on the level of execution control and enforcement of all these legislative documents. There is a trend to create independent agencies on personal data protection in a number of countries. We see that. And most of countries that we communicate with, they look at it as some good practice, best practice, which allows us to increase sustainability of personal data. Independence of this authority allows it to be objective, legislator and regulator in this industry. So these are the trends that we observe in CIS region, movement in the direction of separate agency which fulfills the functions of coordinator of personal data protection. Okay, thank you very much. And by the way, the question that I had to ask as the first one, because you are the coordinator of programs, which programs do exist in the International Telecommunication Union? Well, The main scope of activities of MSA consists of standard development, standardization, and I know that you've also been participating in the activity of the standardization of MSA. We have a research committee number 17, which develops standards in the area of information security. Some Russian companies do participate there, and they put significant input in this work. This is an advanced work from the point of view of security. As for the regional office that we represent, we are related to the development sector, which helps countries that are behind. We are trying not to allow and not to extend the digital gap. And for this, we have a number of programs. One tool, it's not a program, it's the Global Index of Cybersecurity that we do. This is a comparison tool for the countries, how well they are developed in cybersecurity. And this is a very convenient tool for benchmarking and comparative analysis. And countries can look at in which questions they have a space for improvement. It's a benchmarking tool, the tool which has been trusted by companies when we've been launching it. And number of countries which gave us information through their ministries, authorized authorities. There were approximately 50 of them. All the rest of them, we've been searching in the internet, we've been verifying them. And right now, by iteration number 4, iteration number 5, 153 countries through their ministries submit data in EVC, which shows the demand of this mechanism. So we discover the gaps in legislation, regulation, in technical competencies. And for this, we have programs for the development of the national strategy. Development, yes, there's a big technical program with national certs, the program that we conduct trainings for managerial issues and technological issues, reverse engineering, things like that. And we ourselves, we do create a certs, national certs in a number of countries. And from the closest ones, we have created cert on Cyprus, in Kyrgyzstan. We complete the project like that. And we do conduct cybersecurity exercises with orientation at national certs. And PhDs is a big conference, and hackers are more advanced here than employers of these certs. But National Center has certain specifics that you know about. And these national certs, this is where we send our work. We do the training in inter-regional format. In 2019, we have conducted large-scale exercise in Kuala Lumpur for the Asia-Pacific and CIS. And last year, we have conducted for CIS and Arabic region. And these are main programs that I wanted to speak about. So this is proper coverage you're speaking about. So I have the following question to you. From expert to expert, you just told me that you look at the Global Security Index on the basis of this information that is provided by countries, but if they do not provide this information or not full information, you verify their data, right? It's just interesting to me. What is your feeling about the countries and how their feelings are aligned with your verification? Methodology is developed in such a way that advantage of this methodology is that it is developed not by us, not by the employees of MSA, but the expert community, open expert community, and specialists from Russia, Kazakhstan, other regions. They participate in the development of this expert group, and it allows us to do this methodology trustworthy. Everybody trusts it because everybody who wanted to speak up in its development, they spoke up. Their doubts have been taken into consideration. This is a fundamental aspect of its sustainability and trust. Next, we collect data from different countries, but numbers are such that they are objective. For example, you have national cert or not? Do you have industrial cert or not? Do you have platform of data exchange between certs on the national level? Do you have similar legislation? Do you have a program on protecting children online? And these all can be checked. Having access, you can see whether you do have those laws. If we have doubts, we request this information from different countries. We call to their ministries and ask them to provide these laws. It can be in a national language, Kazakh, Azerbaijani language. So we are not asking them to translate it and prove something, but we ask them to provide a link that this legislative document does exist. That's how verification is being done. At the initial stage, we did see some attempts to improve their position, like cheating. But right now, everything is very transparent, and countries do understand that this is not a beauty contest, but a tool. It's a very good approach. Thank you very much. And because we're speaking about this index, maybe you can give us the names of some leading countries from the point of view of this index, or maybe which countries do you see as leaders from the point of view of cybersecurity provisioning?
Сказать, что в 5
Yes, I would like to say that top 5 countries include Russia.
по индексу актуальному
Speaking about the
итерации индекса.
actual index, we have a new iteration, but according to the index that was produced a year and a half, it was Russia, US, UK, Saudi Arabia, Singapore in top 5 countries from this index. And speaking about
Практики из этих стран,
best practices out of these countries,
как Россия, здесь
well, countries of the scale like Russia, we have everything. We have good strategy. We have a lot of certs, SOCs. We have coordination on national level. We have local competencies. And what is the most impressive and most complicated out of our experience is something that we call homegrown cybersecurity industry,
индустрия кибербезопасности.
our own cybersecurity industry. And in Russia, it's well developed. And this is one of the key factors why Russia takes such a high position from this point of view.
Наверное, странам меньше.
Okay, moving to smaller countries, the problem is always about the experience. Well, the experience of Russia cannot be reproduced with smaller budgets, smaller population, smaller human potentials and possibilities.
Но что могут сделать эти страны, я бы, наверное, хотел знать.
But what these countries can do, I'm speaking about countries from our region, like Kazakhstan, which in the last 5-6 years had made a breakthrough thanks to good strategy. They have developed a strategy, a cyber shield of Kazakhstan. They had objective matrices and goals, and these rules of the game for the next 5-6 years. And everybody knew that within these frameworks, there is not going to be internal fight for organizations,
Развитие и
that there will be gradual development and this approach defining the rules of the game, but without interference into the activities of the market and organizations, allowed Kazakhstan to create an ecosystem which has a lot of players, a lot of certs, which do cooperate between each other. There are private companies like Sarka,
и за
and
они вышли
in recent years,
в рейтингах IT.
they've reached very high ITU ratings, and in CIS region, they take the second place. Wow, very interesting. Well, listening you, I have an impression that
Можно описать деятельность
one can describe the activity of ITU as aimed at maximum transparent cooperation to create programs like these, transparent platforms of communication between countries, organizations inside of the country, and perhaps security agencies inside of the countries.
мое ощущение.
Ну, очень приятно.
Do I have a proper feeling? Well, it's very nice that you have such an opinion. This is our goal.
ITU,
And ITU has a very sustainable membership structure. We're a technological agency. In addition to members, we have sectoral members, academic organizations, because all the technologies are being developed and developed by scientific research organizations or by the private sector. ITU involves approximately 200 universities, 700 private organizations, all the manufacturers of large telecom equipment, large IT companies, Google, Alibaba,
тоже входит в ITU.
Kaspersky Lab is included into ITU, and the possibility to be close to such experts from these organizations like you, Mikhail, helps us to be an agency which has an expertise. Therefore, this expertise, we are trying to use it and convert it to build trustworthy relations with countries. We have advanced expertise. Experts trust us as an independent organization, and countries trust us as the organization which can work with these independent experts. This helps us to build a transparent work, and on the basis of this trust, we realize big projects, we attract financing. For example, we have a number of projects where countries gave us financing so that we would do these programs to develop those countries to protect children online in Saudi Arabia.
По всему миру,
And we realize a program globally,
в Узбекистане,
including CIS region, Uzbekistan, Armenia,
защите детей онлайн.
on protecting children online. This aspect, I would like to say, is looked upon as a part of cybersecurity.
Потому что
Yes, it is very interesting because I was interested in a topic of practical steps to help those countries which don't have their legal or technological framework. And it looks like you have replied to this question. So basically, if I properly understand you, from one side, this is development of long-term strategic programs, but on the other side, it's realization of some goal-oriented programs. Yes, our approach is that
обладая не очень большими ресурсами, да,
having very limited resources in the private sector, working with small organizations, we are trying
государственного управления, good governance,
within good governance, we realized some pilot projects which countries didn't pay attention to, and we do the pilot projects. And the objective of this project is to show to a specific country that they need it, that this is done on timely basis, and then afterwards this can be scaled. So we're looking at this strategy,
хорошее, что страна потом
something very good and successful, and the company can scale it for their own resources. This is one approach that we use. The second approach, expert technical assistance. So the country comes to us
национального церкви, потом,
for the development of national CERT and building the programs, how to create national CERT. And we are saying that according to our rating, which we have, there are countries which are considered to be advanced, which experience of which country is interesting to you. We go to these countries and then we ask, do you want to help through ITU to the beneficiary country? So we hire an expert from them.
там, ITU, и
This person becomes ITU expert
нейтральным, да, то есть он,
and he stays neutral
и вот этот эксперт
without lobbying interests of their own country. Then he provides assistance to the beneficiary country, and the country receives practical experience of a well-known country,
реалии данной страны.
layered down to reality of the country where it's not as well developed.
Спасибо большое. Очень
Okay,
интересно.
it's understandable, it's very interesting. And I do have another question as a representative of standardizing organization.
Стремительно.
From time to time, industry is running forward, and I should ask you a question about artificial intelligence, your perception of it, maybe developments related with it, and how do you evaluate its influence on future development of both telecom networks and information security in general?
Наверное, про отношения ты, наверное, свою
Well, speaking about my perception, I have the right to share my personal position. I don't think that our organization has a well-formulated position. My personal is very positive decision because as a person who loves technologies, I always want this technology to develop ASAP. And machine learning gives a lot of big opportunities.
использовать эти технологии.
There are questions of ethical usage of this technology, and this problem is being solved.
Говоришь, что какие-то утопические,
You shouldn't be afraid
да, что это к чему-то нас плохому
and read anti-utopy.
на некий
You
кодекс.
just have to agree on some code of ethical usage of technology. It will come into your life, and you will keep yourselves safe from this.
Организации у нас есть целая
How the organization perceives it, we have a big AI for Good program. And this program collects different stakeholders in Geneva. It's a big platform. So they invite stakeholders who think, who speak, who exchange opinions, conduct hackathons, how the AI can solve the objective facilities outside of the business, because what business can do without us? The state should not interfere there. But everything which is related to socially important topics,
через платформу
we try to realize it through the platform EI for Good. Well, that's all about technological sector. And as for cybersecurity,
обучение, искусственный интеллект дают ну, большие возможности и
ML and AI, they give big opportunities for the defending side. And we, from our side, we are helping to rational search to realize and implement
учетом
protection levels with the consideration of the latest developments, including AI.
наверное, такой ответ.
So that's my answer.
То есть в этом ответе прозвучала еще такая
Okay, thank you. In your answer, I have heard another interesting thing, that you actively create a lab to research new technologies.
привлекаете экспертов. Вот,
Well, these experts are being invited there. This is a very interesting approach.
но у меня вопрос
But I have a question,
немножечко наоборот теперь. Вот все,
a
что...
little bit vice versa. Things that you tell me, I do like.
И возникает впечатление прямо вот такой...
And then I have an impression of this ideal picture of work of ITU.
Какие вы видите зоны развития
Which areas of development do you see in the organization, and also
безопасности?
implementation of these technologies for the cybersecurity?
Ну, их достаточно
Well, development of organizations, there's a lot of them. We would like to scale things that we do.
ресурсов.
We face the limitation of resources. So our fundraising skill is not well developed as UNICEF or bigger companies.
Лучше развит фандрейзинг. То есть
They have better developed fundraising, and we're able to create a neutral CA then increase our technical expertise.
Наши проекты
But right now, our projects
даже
and our cybersecurity
очень часто превышают то, что мы
gym,
можем сделать. То есть
very often it's above our capacity.
хотелось улучшить
So possibly I would like to improve our scalability,
возможность
our
найма персонала.
financing, and possibilities of hiring personnel.
И
This is something that I would like to speak about. Yeah, perhaps that's it.
Ну вот и возвращаясь
Wonderful.
к тому, что мы обсуждали в самом начале, какие бы
Back to what we've been discussing in the beginning.
развития именно
What interesting programs do you see in the area of cybersecurity?
киберучения,
Can there be more cyber exercises? Or maybe we should spend more time
вот этот искусственный интеллект во благо
to artificial intelligence for good of any development.
странам. Вот
So recommendations we can move around. And from the point of view of
запланированы какие-то новые
some
программы в области
planned programs for informational security.
в области информационной безопасности
In the area of informational security, the main objective is
в удовлетворении
scaling whatever is available to you.
в международной организации всегда
Because international organizations, well, for them it's very important not to overestimate their efforts and to focus on something that works well for you. Then earning trust, because all this system is very inertia, and to develop your authority here. It's very complicated. It takes a lot of time.
быстро расти. Ну, вы как представитель
And when you start growing, and you know it as a business,
потери качества, каких
there is a risk of losing quality.
нам, наверное, это было бы сделать сложно. Мы планируем проводить
Well, it would be really complicated to be done, but we would like to have cybersecurity exercises and will realize projects to create and to improve local certs in the countries. This is something we do. Also, we want to implement
национальные стратегии кибербезопасности,
national strategy and cybersecurity strategy in countries.
которые у нас уже есть.
So, in the framework of the mandate that was given to us, it's a very big one.
Что из новых программ, что я забыл,
And another new program that I forgot to mention.
идет большая дискуссия о
Right now, there's a big discussion about cosmos space usage
запуске
because you understand that they launch satellites to geostationary orbits.
не знал.
да,
These orbits are being assigned to certain countries, and there's a big demand
делать,
to regulate somehow those satellite constellations,
на низкоорбитальных орбитах.
which are on a low orbit, medium orbit,
Большой запрос со стран
and there's a big demand from countries
планетную коммуникацию.
for interplanetary communications. How will this be coordinated and regulated? So this is the main strategic discussion which is happening with MSA, the future of the space and the future of space communications,
Использовать
how this can be used.
аспект информационной безопасности. Там тоже
The information security aspect also is present there.
горячее направление, которое сейчас
So this is the hottest direction we are discussing right now. Thank you very much, Farid,
Интересный
for such interesting and detailed conversation. But I have another question to you. We're going to be happy to see you 1 year from now.
через год
So what would you like to see here
организации.
interesting for you and your organization? Thank you.
интервью и за приглашение.
Thanks for this interview. Thanks for inviting me,
Все интересно. Хотел
because everything is very interesting here. But I wanted to be at this event. I wanted to participate. And maybe I wanted to find a team out of those that we've been working with, partners and from the third ones. You've been at a session where management composition was present, so you can receive this team under the ITU flag and then see how it behaves.
технический специалист, он многие годы
Because we did find some technical specialists who worked in Tunis CERT, and he gladly participated in this. And of course, I want to check my strengths as well. That's question number one. Question number two, we would like to scale the session that we have conducted today. We would like to invite at least the Arabic region, Asian Pacific, and CIS to make 3 regions, geographical proximity plus
расширить.
landscape and cybersecurity, then extend this session and make it more large-scale discussion. Thank you very much, Farid, for your interview. I understand you. This is like some order to action, and we're expecting to see you with big number of specialists. Thanks for coming and giving your time to us. And right now we are finishing our conversation. Thank you very much, and I'm giving floor to my colleague Jan.